Can we talk for a minute about our Integrating Heart and Mind workshop?
Absolutely. I'm excited. It's coming up in the fall of 2024.
I'm so excited. We changed the format to make it more accessible to people with like work schedules and personal schedules. And so this time we're going to do it 3 hours on a Friday afternoon or evening, depending on where you're at, and 5 hours on Saturday for 2 different weeks in September.
Yeah, it's so great. Like if you're finding yourself stuck in like sticky bad patterns or having communication issues or something like that, or if you want to just like get closer and trust yourself or your partner more, this is the workshop for you.
Yeah, and individuals are welcome, couples are welcome. If you're interested in really thinking through how to serve yourself well inside of your relationships, then we've built a workshop that will support you in finding the ways that are just right for you.
To sign up, head over to our website at whydoesmypartner.com/events.
We hope you'll join us. Welcome to the Why Doesn't My Partner podcast.
I'm Jules.
I'm Vickey.
And I'm Rebecca. We're your hosts. We're also couples therapists and messy humans bumbling through our own relationships every day.
We met through our training and practice of relational life therapy. Between us, we have more than 40 years of experience holding hard relational questions with our clients. We're going to bring those questions here.
And together, we're going to take a stab at answering those questions. This podcast is not a substitute for therapy. If something you hear in this episode stirs something deep within you about your relationship, reach out to a couples therapist in your area.
We also love to hear your questions, so don't forget to go over to whydoesmypartner.com and leave us a question of your own. Here's today's question. Why does my partner still fight so much with their ex? Are there things I can do or say as a step parent to help heal this relationship, or at least make it less toxic for the kids? I'm so worried about my 13-year-old stepchild feeling torn between their two parents and households. I want to be a support for them without overstepping.
Yeah, that's a really good question.
Mm-hmm. I just want to name the first thing I hear in that question.
Yeah.
Which is compassion.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Yeah, because I hear sadness. I'm just so sad.
Mm-hmm. Why does my partner fight with their ex? It isn't about what this person is feeling personally about that connection. It's more about protection of the family system and protection of the kids. And how is this relationship affecting the larger dynamic? So I'm not hearing as much in this question about it being concerning for this person.
Me
like
neither.
Inside their relationship.
Yeah.
Right. It doesn't feel to me like it's a partnership dynamic. I mean, it is a partnership dynamic, but it feels like a larger system that they're trying to really be conscious of.
I would agree with that.
And not a lot of times this,
Well, I was just going to say, not like a jealousy thing of like, it's about the three adults. That's what you guys are saying, is that this is more about like what's going on with the whole thing with the kids involved, and how can I be supportive? Not necessarily why don't I have my partner's attention more, or like why is my partner being drawn into that dynamic so much?
Yeah, which could also be a question that somebody would ask.
Yeah. And a lot of times I think our questions come out of this space. So a lot of the people who come to my office with parenting questions are asking those parenting questions, not because of any difficulty per se between the parents, but because they have different ideas about what is healthy for the children. Right? So I hear two questions in this question, and I wonder if I could name them. One is, why is this difficult dynamic such a draw for my partner? Why is that person having trouble extricating themselves from this really hard fight, right? And that's one question. And the other question I hear that's kind of secreted away inside this is there anything I can do to help?
I don't even think it's that secretive. I think it's in there. Is there anything I can be doing to help?
Is there anything I can do to make this less bad? Yeah. So I wonder if we could just riff for a moment on the first part. What is it that sucks us in to the ex-partner dynamic? Why is it hard to extricate ourselves?
Well, I think it's the same stuff that sucks us into any toxic relationship dynamic.
Say more.
Right?
Yeah.
So, okay, this is just a theory, but the idea is that if we grew up in homes that were chaotic or rigid or had their own form of toxicity, right?
Sorry, didn't we all? Sorry.
Oh, no, there are some people who grew up in lovely places where people went on picnics together,
true.
just nobody in this room.
And probably not very many of the people who come to see us. We love you all and we're not judging. We're in the same boat as you. And
so true.
The folks who come to us are pretty self-selected, right? And so I think that for the folks that are struggling with relationship,
yes,
right, that there's often this old template. And if we were to break out of that template and do something really different that had a calmness and maybe was more joy filled and maybe was a space where we weren't so rigid and there was more flow, that actually might be kind of scary and disconcerting. And so we run back to the thing that is familiar, because that familiarity, I can't talk today.
You got it.
Familiarity. I don't know how to say that word.
Familiarity.
I was just going to say, I don't think I could say it right now either. So thank you, Jules.
It's been a long day. Okay. So that is actually comfortable.
Yes. Known.
Comfort isn't actually where we grow, but it's like a familiar pattern.
Yeah.
That's the idea. I don't know. What do you think?
I think that is totally possible that that's an option. I have a straightforward version option, which isn't so much about the familiar stuff. It's more around, it's not fair for me to be the one to back down. And damn it, I'm right about this thing.
I was just thinking about being right. There's that. Like, I want to be right.
A being right, or like, I don't want to be the one to stop this because that would make them win, or it's not fair because I was mistreated. And so it could be like more of a retaliation kind of thing in hopes of gaining fairness, or in hopes of not feeling taken advantage of, or not feeling like they let someone get away with abuse. Right. So it could be like a standing up for yourself thing, a being right thing, a fairness thing, like on a little bit more straightforward, less subcortically led version. It can be really hard to walk away because it means turning the other cheek.
Right. Well, yeah. And I find myself, all I hear when you're saying that, Jules, is vulnerability or lack thereof. And then my mind goes to, it's hard enough to be vulnerable with my partner whom I love, like theoretically, and want to be with and all that. Do I really want to be vulnerable with my ex-partner whom I'm not, I don't want to be with anymore? Like, that's a tough call. And that's what's crossing my mind as you're talking. Often. Right. Not at all.
And maybe it's not even wise to. So
hold on. Because I just want to hold space for the couples that seem to do being exes really well. Right? Like there are lots of families that have
absolutely
that have split up, that are divorced families, that have multiple households, and they do it with grace and solid communication, and like there's a healthiness and solid like boundaries on both sides, and like things can feel really good
because they've shifted their dynamic. Yeah.
But it takes two people to do that.
Right.
Yes.
It is possible, but it takes two people to do that. So if you have a partner who's dealing with an ex who is not doing that kind of work,
that's right.
It may not actually be that vulnerability is a really smart option. And I like to be thoughtful about, you have listened to this podcast before. You know how big an advocate I am for going vulnerable.
Oh, yes.
And I'm an advocate for going vulnerable with thoughtfulness and with people who have earned it.
And with safety, I was going to say too.
Well, does safety exist? That's such an interesting question, but relative safety, right?
Yeah.
With earned trust, right?
Yes.
So I can make the risk of going vulnerable with someone and they can show me that's not a great idea. And I could try it maybe 2 or 3 times and they consistently show me that's not a great idea. I'm probably going to stop. Discernment. Like, I cannot control how someone else in the world is going to show up relationally with me. And I don't even want to try because that's not clean and it's not in my integrity.
That's really good perspective because I really do want to try. I want to force them to show up for me the way I want them to show up for me.
Hey, what's your agenda there?
Show up for me the way I want you to.
It is understandable because the world would be easier if it went your way. And
it would be. I'm just being honest. I loved your answer more. It's full of integrity and it's healthy to not. I get it. And you're 100% right. I just know that I'm not there yet.
You're speaking for like the truth about how we are sometimes, which is, but I don't wanna. Yeah.
Well, that sounds mature when you say it that way. My weight leaf sounds mature. I don't wanna sounds like the child part that it really is. I can own that too. Yeah.
Right. And so
I don't wanna. I need to have that up somewhere in the house, but I don't wanna.
But I don't want to. Exactly. And it could be, by the way, that this is where your partner is. So if any of you have a partner who's fighting with an ex and really struggling with that, it could be that turning the other cheek is because, like, why do they not do that? Because they don't want to. It could be.
Yeah.
And does that mean it's really serving the kids? Well, maybe not.
Right.
Even though it may be understandable.
Yeah.
So what can we do to help if this is what's going on for you? If you're a partner and you're bearing witness to this and you don't want to overstep, my guess is you go to your partner.
Yes.
And you talk to them about it. So
you know how I would start that conversation?
Yeah, tell us.
I would start, not from a place of, I want to be clear that what I'm going to start with is not the way to start. And then I'm going to move into a way that might be a way to start, right? So I would not say, this is the stuff I'm observing that's going wrong. And this is what I'm really, really worried about. What I would say would be something. I would
also not use the word toxic or damaging to the children. Those phrases probably would not help you.
Yeah. Or why do you do with your ex? Right. Like all of that stuff is probably going to put your partner on the defense. And it's it's like, have you heard it? What is it? The drama triangle. The Karpman's drama triangle. Have you heard of this? Where, there's 3 points to the triangle. One is the perpetrator, one is the victim, and one is the rescuer. And so if you try to come in at any of those points, like you're coming in as the rescuer here, right? You're going to be made into either the perpetrator or the victim, right? Like the roles all shift around.
Yep.
So you want to avoid that. You don't want to come in as a rescuer here. What I might do in this situation is I might come in and say, I'm uncomfortable. That feels hard.
I love. I want to point out for everyone at home what you just did.
Yeah.
Is that you owned your experience of the thing. So starting from the I, rather than starting with a story about how it's being experienced with someone else, could make a really big difference.
Right? And so starting with that, like one of the things that I'm finding over and over again in my work is that one of the most important phrases that anybody in a relationship of any kind could use when something feels uncomfortable is just slowing down and naming it. I'm uncomfortable. This is hard. This doesn't feel good.
Yep.
And we talk about
if you put that together with the story I'm making up about it, the story I've got in my head about it, what I'm telling myself about this.
That's right.
If you coupled those two things together, just those two, it's relational gold in 9 out of 10 relationship situations.
Yeah.
You know what else I would do probably is I would let somebody know. I would let my partner know that I was about to have a rumbly conversation. And probably that if I was feeling nervous about it, that I'm feeling nervous about it. So I would name, I want to talk to you about something hard. I'm feeling nervous about how it's going to go. I'm hoping you can hear me. Is this a good time? Right. So contracting for it and then doing exactly what Rebecca's talking about. I am feeling uncomfortable.
Can I back us up one more second? When we contract for it, just because it needs to be said, when we contract for it, if our partner says now's not a good time.
Yeah. You respect that.
That's okay.
That's okay.
That's okay.
Right? If we
let
keep
me know when a good time is, hun.
Yeah.
And if you're the partner saying now isn't a good time, be sure to come back eventually, like not put it off for 3 months. But like, let's try tomorrow night. Let's try this weekend. Give the alternative.
Yeah. And you know what I'm thinking about too, is thinking about how to not put yourself into any of those triangulated positions. So if your step kiddo is coming to you and sharing, but you don't want to be in those positions, how do we handle that? You know, one of the thoughts that comes up to me as a beginning point is to create welcome listening spaces, you know?
Yeah.
And to let them know it makes sense what they're feeling.
Yeah.
So if you have a relationship with your stepchild where they would come to you and start talking about it, you could, without throwing anyone under the bus or without throwing any partner, right? The ex-partner or your partner under the bus, you could say, yeah, it makes sense that it's feeling scary, or it makes sense that you feel caught in the middle. I could see why that would happen. That must be hard for you.
And offering that kiddo then an opportunity to start metabolizing their own experience, the support to know that they're not alone, that they have a witness, and that maybe you can help them then bring it back to their parent.
I love that. Would you like my help talking to mom, talking to dad about this?
Yeah. I hear you. I see you. I'm with you. You make sense. Let me help you bring this back to your parent or parents.
Yeah, because these are big topics and this would be overwhelming for a child.
That's right.
And I would also say, how do you not overstep? You do not talk to the ex-partner about this problem.
That's right.
That would be overstepping. So this would be something for your partner to deal with.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's probably a good place for us to land today.
Good luck to anyone out there dealing with these difficult relational dynamics with an ex or in-laws or whatever those may be for you.
Yeah, this was a tough one.
Love each other best you can.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
That wraps up this week's episode. Join us again next week for another Why Does My Partner?
We hope that you continue to listen wherever you get your audio and that you'll follow the show.
To go deeper, join us at our boot camp. You'll find the next date at whydoesmypartner.com.
Did you know you could ask us your question?
Your questions are relational gold.
Go to whydoesmypartner.com to either write in or record your question for a future episode.